Alright, first off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the brothers in highways and byways pushing this word now, sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps, the hopeful elect. Shalom. This is the brother Hiram from the James Jamaica camp coming to another quick lesson. And this lesson is gonna be based on something that I've observed or realized through the spirit. Was watching pretty much an animated series, and something stood out that I can say that there are similar things that actually happen within the truth as it pertains to the body, as it pertains to being a part of a team, and just wanted to share what I've noticed, and hopefully this is edifying. So before I get into it, maybe this be the only scripture that I read. I'll definitely quote a lot of precepts because I want to make this as short as possible, and definitely if you have scriptures, go ahead and put them on the comment board. All right, so this is 1 Corinthians 12, and I'll start at verse 12. Right, it says, for as the body is one and hath many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is the Messiah. For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether it be Jews or Gentiles, whether it be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one Spirit. All right, for the body is not one member, but many. So we're all of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Whether once we have the understanding of these scriptures, once we are actually of the household of faith, then we are part of the body. And notice verse 14 says, for the body is not one member, but many. And that is the one of the key takeaways from this lesson. Right, moving on, verse 15, it says, if the foot shall say, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? And if the ear shall say, because I am not the eye, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? If the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where were the smelling? But unto the Most High now had the Most High set the members, every one of them in the body, as it had pleased him. And if they were all one member, where were the body? But now there are many members, yet but one body. All right, and it's saying a lot. It's showing that every member of this body has a purpose. And I'm going to continue reading verse 21. It says, for and the eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of thee, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. Nay, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary, and those members of the body which we think to be less honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant honor, and our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness. For our comely parts have no need, but God had made them tempered, for God had tempered the body together, having given more abundant honor to that part which lacked, that there shall be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another. And whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it, or one member be honored, all members rejoice with it. All right. So I know that that's a lot, but as I go through what I've noticed when I was actually watching that series, I hope that it all makes all becomes clear. Now, for those who want to know, the animated series is pretty much it's called One Piece, and it's pretty much about a pirate crew, pretty much sailors, right? Now, not saying that we're pirates, But looking at from the standpoint of a sailor, many times within this truth, even the apostles and elders, they made the metaphorical statement, we run a tight ship, and sometimes we may even say, we need all hands on deck, whenever we're trying to exhort, brothers to push out more, more edifying lessons. You have from time to time, you have brothers who come out and say, look, we need to be all hands on deck, and with every ship, there has to be a captain. With every ship, there has to be a head. Now, on a whole, GMS can be considered a ship, you know. But even within each individual camp, you can consider the camp as a ship. So I'm gonna speak from the standpoint of a camp. Now, in the series, the captain of this, the main character, so to speak, the captain, he pretty much, has he's very laid back, very, goofy, he laughs a lot, messes around a lot. But when it all comes down, when the time comes for, for him to be serious, you know he's pretty much serious. He's pretty much on the ball. He's ready to pull through. He guides them, and always, somehow makes the right decision. Now, there was a particular scene early in within the series where, pretty much one of the villains asked him, how is it that you're the captain and you're so weak? And he says, look, I'm not weak, because he pretty much says, look, I have my crew. you know he said, look, I have my navigator, because I can't navigate the seas. you know I have pretty much, he's saying that, look, I have friends to help me fight, because I alone can't fight. you know and he pretty much, I think at that point the scene actually flashed back on each member of the crew, to show what their positions were. And his mindset was, look, I'm pretty much nothing without my crew. Earlier when I was reading through, I can actually get to it. Verse, what's that? Verse, verse 15 says, if the foot shall say, no, Salakia, let me get down. Here it says, where is it? Salakia, just bear with me. Right, it says, but now there are many members, yet one body. The eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of thee, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. So as a captain, he knew that he has need of his crew, because they all serve a purpose to help him to get where he needs to be. And that's one of the things that we that's important, to ask Yahweh Shem Yahushai to let you know your lot, and to see where you fit in, and you just stay in your lane and do what you need to do. Because guess what? Once you're within this truth, then you do what you have to do. You pretty much pull your own weight. Do as much as you can, as best as you can, to help the furtherance of the gospel. Now, the main point I was getting at now with the whole series, and part that's still out there, was this I'd say season, or there a particular time or part within the series where one of the members pretty much got removed from the crew, and it was pretty much due to his insecurity. And you have Akim, within the truth, that because they're you're insecure, it allows demons to jump on you and say, look, I'm not a part of the elect, or you know or pretty much we don't know who's the elect, but you say that there's no way I'm a part of the elect. Maybe it's best that I leave the truth, or it's probably best that I get removed because I serve no purpose here, or those type of thoughts that actually creep up. Now it was under the basis of this, pretty much he had some money that that they were carrying around, and when the big fights happen, he's not the one that's on the front line, and he already acknowledged, I know that, look, he's not a fighter, right? And he's pretty much insecure because when the fights happen, he's either hiding or running. But the thing about it is, he and the captain were pretty much close, and he's an inventor. He has good ideas. Sometimes when things break, he's the one that tried to fix this as best as it can be fixed. But when it comes on to the battlefield, he's not the strongest fighter, right? Now, what had happened was, yes, they had this money, and he got robbed. The money was retrieved, and then afterwards he was kidnapped, and then got they pretty much beat him up, and took the money. After they beat him up and took the money, he went back on his own trying to recover the money, and they pretty much beat him up again. Now when that happened, the rest of the crew, they pretty much found him. He was out, and they nursed him, but while he was out cold, the crew pretty much went there, and they pretty much defended his honor. At that point, when they were fighting those other guys, they were like, look, at this point, it's not even about the money, it's the fact of what you did to to a member of the crew. Pretty much you did something. If you did something to part of the crew, you did it to one of the crew, you did to all of us. And that's the thing. It says here in Corinthians that, look, if one member is suffer, the whole body suffers. So with being a part of the body, there are things that definitely, there are things that we have personal trials, and some things we have to hold the weight of that, or carry our burden. But there are other things where we definitely should not be afraid to rely on the Akim, and to whether it could be just for counsel, it could be for exhortation, it could be for advice, or it could be actually physical help, like arms, or a brother to come and help you to do something, or something of the sort. There's some, it's a balance. Some things there are you have to deal with on your own, other things you need help, because if it's a case that we didn't need the Akim, then no, the Lord wouldn't give us a camp. The Lord wouldn't actually put us in camps, or even this that is written in First Corinthians would not be written. So they pretty much they went and they told him that, look, you did something to one of our crew. At this point, we don't even care about the money, but we have to right the wrong. And they pretty much say they settled the score, right? Now when they all went back, they while he was out, he pretty much hid his insecurity. In the next scene, he hid his insecurity with something that has nothing to do with the with the main problem at hand. So pretty much what had happened was the ship that they were using, they were no longer able to use it. It pretty much was battered up based on the many journeys that they took, and it needed to be replaced. And even though they all had an attachment towards the ship, because they were hoping that they could actually keep it, the captain assessed the situation, and despite being down about it, down and out about it, he made the decision to look, get a new ship. Now, right when he woke up and they actually told him that, he was, pretty much getting franked. No, they don't respect the ship. They they're just replacing it. They don't see the importance of it. Pretty much he kept on, blaming, pretty much going back and forth and bucking up against the captain. And it was a heated argument, because even the captain himself was all cut up about, you know, getting rid of the ship. But they got in an argument over it, and during the heat of the argument, the captain pretty much was about to say that, look, if you can't work with my decision, then it's better you find another crew. But right as he was about to say that, one of the other members interrupted and told the captain that, look, don't, everybody needs to calm down. Don't end up saying something that we'll all regret, or say something that you can't take back, right? And the captain pretty much said, you're right, I apologize. Now, with that statement that he made, that, look, if you can't work with what I'm saying as the captain, find a new crew, what he said was not wrong. But I speak as a man. How I judge it is from the standpoint that, look, if you're gonna pass a judgment, it's not right to actually pass the judgment, based on emotions or based on feelings, even though it was the right thing to say and it would be the right thing to do, because it's actually true. If you're a part of a ship or a team or a crew, and that team has a leader, if it's a case that you're not working or rocking with the leader, then definitely, you got to do your own thing. But the difference with that particular situation was that they were both heated, and under the circumstances under which it was said, then definitely it would be best to do things, something like that, with a more sober or calming mindset. Make that decision like that, in a state of being sober, right? And he pretty much apologized. And then it came out, what he was really feeling. He was like, what, you actually meant it. You pretty much, you really meant it. It's been for a while now. You don't like weak people on your crew, and pretty much, I see that for a while now. I've been seeing that I'm very weak, and therefore all I'm doing is holding you guys back. And they were trying to say, hey, that's not the case. And he wouldn't have it. He pretty much wouldn't have it. And even, it was revealed that even he knew that before everyone, that the ship was in a terrible condition and needed and would eventually have to be replaced. But he pretty much, hid his insecurity with, behind the guise of the ship being replaced, when really and truly what was happening, he was feeling insecure and wasn't feeling as if he had what it took, even though he didn't know that his friends were mad about it, mad with him about the money. They weren't upset that he was lost under his watch. They weren't when he got beat up, they wasn't looking at it as why the hell is this man so weak, or why do we always have to bail him out. That was never the mindset. The mindset was, look, this is a valid member of our crew and we have to right the wrong. But he didn't know that. So within his mind, he was saying that, look, I'm not fit. Therefore, I'm gonna leave. And he pretty much said that, look, seeing that you're gonna, and even then he was still putting up the guys that it was about the ship. He was like, look, I'll actually, duel you for the ship. If I win, I keep the ship. If you lose. No, if I win, I keep the ship. If I lose, then I'll leave the crew. And he pretty much dueled. He lost, and he was pretty much out, right? And I was looking at it like, this is definitely based on the form of some form of insecurity, and within the camps, I've seen it. I've seen it. And to be honest, there, even in the earlier stages of being in the truth, I can remember having that feeling from time to time, so I can definitely understand how that's a spirit that can definitely get on brothers. And I know that some brothers actually battle with that spirit. They really struggle with trying to find their place within the camps, because you may see a brother being a good speaker and be like, I want to speak like that, or they may perceive a brother to see and say that this brother is knowledgeable. I'm not knowledgeable as this brother, so maybe I'm not good enough, or I don't remember as much precepts, or I don't know as much breakdowns, or which understanding, the scripture says, studies to show thyself approved, and pretty much a workman needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. But at the same time, scripture tells you that the Lord give every man according to his measure. So it's pretty much from the standpoint of whatever measure you've been blessed with, that's what you should actually put forth. But brothers, and also Paul in his writings, always admonish the camps, or that look, don't look on me above that which I am, So it's good to acknowledge that brothers have strengths, but every brother has a weakness. Every brother has a fight, from the strongest brother on down. There are many a times where you'd even hear Apostle Gabar say, look, I don't want Apostle Tahar's spot. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes, because the things that I've seen this man endured. So even Apostle Tahar, who, is our example through Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, as to how to, navigate through this dispensation at time, and, the understanding and the breakdowns of these scriptures, even the apostles and elders, they have their things that they go through, brothers that you see on camera, yeah, they have their things that they go through. They have their things, we all have something that we're battling, we're all fighting for our salvation, and it was just a thing that I was looking at, like, wow, it's really a thing. Now, after he got removed from the crew, there was pretty much a storm coming, and you had some of the members, they know that they couldn't talk to him directly because he was no longer a part of the crew, so pretty much on his own. But they pretty much went in earshot of him and was saying that, look, I can't believe there's a storm coming, so on and so forth, and pretty much was giving him a heads up to try to prepare him, like, I really didn't want him to leave the crew, but he made his choice, right? And sometimes within the camps, when certain brothers get removed from the camps, or get booted from GMS, you always hear the apostles and elders say, look, don't have dialogue, and that's with good reason, because most of the time the spirits that are on those brothers can actually jump on you, and pretty much you don't want to get caught up in all that mess. It's best to just trust the judgment, and just chill out and let everything play out as it should. But that also that scene also reminded me of the truth, and as it went on, pretty much something else happened, and he was actually there, and everybody, he pretty much wore a mask, and everybody knew who he was apart from the captain, and he was pretty much helping them, because he saw where they definitely needed his help. And even though he wasn't a main fighter, he did a lot of things that was crucial within the success of them actually overcoming that particular obstacle, even though in a sense, with the whole plot and story and everything, he happened to get caught in the mixed, and just pretty much seeing that he was caught in the mix, he just pretty much followed through with helping them, right? So he pretty much did that. Now, after the whole within him helping them, there was a scene where he was like, I don't know what to do now. And one of the members turned to him and said, look, I'm here to do what you can't do, and you're here to do what I can't do. So get going and do what you can do, so I can be here to do what I can do. And that is why I actually read this these scriptures, this excerpt from 1 Corinthians 12, going into the basic scripture, breaking down the body. We all have a purpose. What I can do, another brother can't do it. What I can do, another brother can't do it. What I can't do, another brother can do it. What I can see, another brother may not see it, but what I can't see, another brother will see it. So it's a case where we are all of the same body. We all have a function within this truth. Don't look at, even if it seems like your function is a small function, uphold that office, yo, and do it with all diligence. If you're holding sign, hold sign to the best of your ability. If you're armor bearer to the best of your ability. If you're a speaker, speak to the best of your ability. If you're one of those brothers who maybe, you're not, as great as reading, but you can find the precepts, feed the precepts to the reader to the best of your ability. Do your sit downs as best as you can, and with other things, you may be a help. You may be a brothers that's in a case where in a place where you can give alms, or you're the brother that can help out with this particular thing in most cases, or that particular thing in most cases. Just fulfill your lot, with whether you be a brother or a sister, do what you can do, you know and where what you can't do, there's always going to be somebody else to do that, because that's how the Lord actually set up the camps. you know Now, another key point of this excerpt, pretty much, it was a whole arc. After the whole ordeal, and they got over everything, one of the crew members went to the captain and say, before, just so um you know guy number one is pretty much, um you know I hear him practicing, his apology speech, and he definitely wants to come back to the crew. And he was like, yeah, well, if that's the case, let's go get him right now. Right? And his number two actually stopped him in front of the entire crew and said, look, if you go to him, because he was remembering all of the good times that they had, and pretty much, he didn't really have anything personal about it with him, but the guy was being stubborn, and he made his choice, and he pretty much followed through with it. He was pretty much saying that, look, if it's a case that you go get him, then I'll be the next person that you lose from this crew. And everybody was like, hey, what's your deal? And he was like, look, even though this guy is a pretty much a bonehead, and he's pretty much laid back and he's goofy and all of this, he's still a captain. And he pretty much said that, look, a captain who does not a crew that does not respect their captain, or a captain who doesn't demand it, that crew is bound to fail. And he said that, look, this is not a game. We're not playing at this. This is serious. What will if he flipped out or something as simple as this, what, and you just let him back in? What's going to stop him from do it again? He pretty much, and he was like, look, I even though he's cool and everything, I don't expect you to go ahead and kiss his ass. If he wants to come back, he has to come on his own, and he has to apologize. If he doesn't, then we're leaving him. And the captain looked into himself, and he was like, he pretty much knew that he was right. Because even the first time around when he left, even the whole crew was sad, even the captain himself, because, he pretty much felt that he lost a friend. He was very close with him, and he trusted him. So to hear that he wanted to come back, he was happy about it. But, his second in command, he pretty much, helped, get him sturdy and to think about it soberly. Pretty much, get him back on track, saying that, look, you're not saying that he can't come back, but if he's going to come back, he has to go about it the right way. It's either that or none at all. And if you do take him back, then I'm out, because this is not going to last, because it's not built upon a proper foundation. And it's the same thing within this truth. Many a times, you have brothers who have been kicked out of the camps, based on their spirit, they humble and whatever, the apostles will say, all right, take him back. And then you have other times when brothers or certain men get kicked out of the camp, and you see that they have a whole entire attitude, and they go about it all type of way, and you just know that, look, leave that brother alone, and it's very true. And Apostle Gabar always brings up about familiarity breeds contempt. And it's true. A team that does not respect their captain, and a captain that does not demand their respect, is bound to fail, because there's no way for them to be on one accord. If it's a case where no one is following the head, then what's going to happen to the body? So, going through all watching that arc, and pretty much seeing, the various dynamics of the crew, seeing the various conflicts, even, within the crew, and all of that, and how it was resolved. Pretty much in the end, what happened was when he saw that they were leaving, he pretty much begged them and apologized to take him back. And when he did, they pretty much, took him back. And it also goes to show why it's important to have, even a second in command or a third in command, or, certain officers that, as the scriptures put it, sometimes referred to it, men of good report. And they, they give counsel on something, or they give an advice, you hear them out. And as the captain, or the head, you have the last say. You pray the Lord give you the spirit to judge it the right way. And when I heard it, I was pretty much looking at it like, yo, that was actually sound advice from pretty much the second in command. That was very, very sound advice. And it was a sober judgment. It was a true judgment. It was not personal, but it was true. So there's a lot of things to consider, yo. We all have a role to play. We all have a role to play. We all have a function, and we should definitely, as the scripture highlights in First Peter 5, or Second Peter 5, not, I think it's First Peter 5, about about how the heads, should pretty much oversee the flock and take care of the flock, and also for the flock to be, in subjection, Salakia, to the heads of the church, because that's crucial and that's very, very important. Scripture also said, what it can two walk together, at least they be agree. I'm just here thinking if there was anything else. I think that's it. So, hope this was edifying, hope this was exhorting, hope it actually, made a spark, or made some connections, or made, some clarity, And yeah, so with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways, pushing this word in all sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps, the hopeful elect. Shalom.